So Public Enemy, rapper Chuck D. Now, anyone who know anything about hip hop, Chuck D, Flavor Flav, they definitely made their mark in hip hop. So Chuck D has always been a brother, has always been outspoken. If you know anything about Public Enemy's music, I mean, that's just a testament in itself about what hip hop originally was supposed to be. Hip hop was supposed to be about speaking about the system, speaking about issues in the community. And of course, when other folks came in, they corrupted it and went from speaking about things on a conscious level to just women, cars, money, drugs, etc. And hip hop was never about that in the beginning. So this is one of the pioneers of, hip hop and what it originally was supposed to be. So Chuck D, he came out blasting the Jerry Springer show and Maury for their content. And he believes that they're being paid by the government to make black people look bad. OK, so he took to Twitter on Tuesday and said the show's host, Jerry Springer and Maury, must be getting paid by the government. That's what he said. He said in Twitter, how much are they paying these old white dudes like Maury and Jerry, Showtime and young folks dysfunctional behavior on air, especially young black folks? Now he says, beware of elder media, new COINTELPRO buzzers hovering. He said everything ain't entertainment. In fact, it's exploitation. Now he stated that the Maury Povich show started in 1991 and used to cover some of the day's topics and had a serious tone until 1998 when Studio USA, which is now NBC Universal, began producing it and changed the format entirely. OK, so they said from there, Maury, he's still on today, but took on more of a tabloid feel and aired a lot of dysfunction, particularly among young black people. His most popular segment involves paternity tests after women say they, looking for the father of their child. Now, this is what I said about those shows, Maury and Jerry Springer. If Maury was Maurice, okay, and Jerry Springer was Jamal Jones, those shows wouldn't have lasted a year. Okay. And I'm going to tell you why those shows wouldn't have lasted a year. And it has nothing to do with white people, what I'm about to say. Black folks would not have allowed those two brothers that would be hosts to do that. They wouldn't have allowed it. They would have been against them. They would say we need to boycott Maurice and Jamal Jones. They're exploiting black people. They're making us look bad. They're taking the worst of black people and putting them on display, and they putting up stereotypes. They'll say all kind of things about them. But when it comes to Maury and Jerry Springer, okay, they never had nothing to say. Now, what I will say, because I've seen both shows, I would say Maury probably is more exploitive than Jerry Springer, because I will say this, Jerry Springer has had a lot of dysfunctional white folks. Yes, he has. I'm going to say I've probably seen at times more dysfunctional white folks on Jerry Springer than black folks. But Maury's the one that brings on dysfunctional behavior, or he's looking for the worst of the worst. And yes, I've seen white folks on Maury. I've seen Hispanics on Maury as well. But I see more and more black people. But I get what Chuck D is saying. When you turn that on, it doesn't make black Americans look bad. That's why when you go to, hear other people, let's say like sometimes Africans to say, well, you guys don't, take care of yourselves and y'all having babies and this and that and the third, even though, you can find that anywhere. But a lot of that comes from propaganda and what's being shown. And we have to understand that image is being shown on purpose. OK, not every black woman is out there, just being loose in their sex life with men they should never lay down with and don't know who the father of their child are. That is not the norm. OK, that's not the norm even for the men in the community. But they do that to always, to demonize the image of black people, even worldwide. You have to understand, in this system that we live in, they have to keep up the image of the black man and black woman as the most horrible, destitute, criminal, no good, savage, can't think for themselves. They have to keep that up because you cannot have black excellence and racism, white supremacy in the same space. You can't have that. They have to have black oppression and then white supremacy. Okay. So they have to keep that up worldwide. They have to make, even if you leave, and go to different countries, you still deal with racism sometimes, especially in European countries, even in a few Asian countries, even you deal with it in some Arab countries too, because they made sure to constantly feed the world the most negative images of black people, whether it's love and hip hop, whether it's, like I said, it's Maury. They put out certain movies where they show just a bad image of black men, when they promote the rappers to, promote the most horrible things. And then you got some rappers right now who are more of the original rappers, more of a conscious rapper. They real good, but they'll never put them on, because as long as you're showing the image of the black man and the black woman, she got to be sexualized. She got to be twerking. She got to be half naked with all this plastic surgery. They'll put on, no matter what is the talent. Like you listen to someone like who's current, Megan Thee Stallion. Megan Thee Stallion, she has talent. I read her story. That girl got a college degree. But yet I noticed they're only putting on women that's extremely sexualized, like you got to be looking like Cardi B and all them others, Nicki Minaj. They all got the same look now, more of old Jezebel look. They want to promote the rappers that's female who actually put some clothes on and actually you can respect their craft because they're not half naked all over the place. They want the men the same way, black men out there talking about shooting up other black men, using the N-word all the time, talking about drugs and everything else. That's what they want, to feed that constant image of negativity about black people. And Chuck D is right to call it out, but it's much deeper than just Maury and Jerry Springer. It's the Hollywood, it's music industry, it's TV. It's all of that trying to destroy the image of the black man and black woman. They'll never want to show stories where you have a brother becoming a doctor, or a brother being a scientist, or, a woman, opening up a successful business. Shoot, they try to destroy businesses in the community. Like right now, what's happening in Houston with the Turkey Hut, a successful business in Third Ward. And they trying to sue and cause all kind of issues at the Turkey Hut to get them shut down. They never want to show a black person doing well, but they'll show a black girl twerking. They'll show that, or they'll show a black girl that's a single mother, don't know who the father is. They'll show that. So we have to understand Chuck D is all done by design. It's done by design. And that's why we should combat that image at all times. When they presented that image, combat it. Or you can fight fire with fire, and you can start your own show and show the degradation in their community. You can do that too. That's another way you can fight it. And if they complain, say, well, it was no complaints when you show black people, so why all of a sudden it's a complaint now? I mean, you can fight that one way or another. But my thing is counter that image. It's called the propaganda war. When you counter that image, back with an image that is good, you call it out. You also show the behavior of what they're doing. Because see, they slick. They will filter in some white folks in there just so you won't say they're racist. That's how they do it. They'll filter in other groups just so you can't come out and say that. But we know the majority of the people they keep putting on these shows is, black folks. Now, at the same time, they're not forcing them to go to those shows. So they're calling them when they say, hey, if you don't know about fraternity, call us. They're calling them as well. So we need to address that. We need to address family creation in our community too. Instead of all this, single parenting and because everything in the single parent household is horrible. If you look at economically, if you look at psychologically, if you look at education, if you look at incarceration, all these different factors, it comes in with single parent households. So there's a lot of things that we need to talk about. But I get what Chuck D is saying, and I'm with him 100%. But we got to call out also, like you said, the music industry, television, movies, all of that, if we want to correct our image. But leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about the situation with Chuck D and him calling out, Maury and the Jerry Springer show, even though I know that's kind of extreme, some things they show on those programs. And I get where the brother's going, but if we're going to call it out, let's call it all out, because he got more right to call out the music industry, because that wasn't, the way things are today, extremely exploitive. So I hope you start calling out the music industry as well, because they take these little young kids that don't have nothing, give them money they never seen before, and now they out there just trashing the community.